Welcome to Quick Picks again. And can I talk to you about legacy real quick? Legacy basically is the principle of what I hope people will remember about me when I'm gone. And is that morbid? Maybe a little bit morbid. I'm on my way to actually have a will notarized, which that could be intense. Definitely brought interesting thoughts. And what we leave behind to other people is kind of the summation of our life's reputation. And I pray that God really speaks this to you. The fact that legacy is left moment by moment, which means investment by investment and choice by choice. And so every moment that we have, we get to live for ourselves. It's just the tree of life or the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Every moment we're choosing, do I invest in other people from love, or do I live selfishly? And that always is the choice. It is always life and death. Tonight I'm going to celebrate with a couple friends as they help me get this notarized. And I say that to say, I'm excited because God put these friends in my life. So I have a chance. It's an opportunity to invest in them. And I think that it's always this way in life. I just was working with an organization. I'm working with an organization that works with foundations. And a lot of finances come to the foundations, and so there are certain kind of partnerships that may mean that funds go to the most poor and the needy on the planet, the poorest of the poor, the most underserved communities. And some of those partnerships have restrictions on them because you have to be of a certain demographic, you have to be aimed at a certain kind of alliance where you're doing things or espousing morals that the person has to like for them to give certain kind of gifts. And that's very normal for this industry. They can do that. But when we think about love is the opposite of that way. To love, God never put stipulations or requirements of you have to grow before I love you, And we should be that way. And I'm this is off the cuff, obviously this one is less planned than normal. But to have a legacy basically means that you leave behind inheritances as you go. Like the prodigal son, where the father gave his inheritance before he was dead. He was giving out of his own death in life. That may be a good picture of how we're supposed to live. Giving out of our own death in life. And today I got off the phone with a friend who God really brought out of a very tough season of life that was a long one. And immediately his response was to invest in people who really need to be given the chance to become self-sustaining and self-supporting and strong it's basically the principle is give a man a fish versus teach a man to fish, right? And he's helping them long-term shatter poverty cycles. And as I was thanking him and praying with him, he was in the middle of teaching his young son to cook. And they have a beautiful project that they're doing tomorrow to teach a sport to a community. And this is this man's life. He's constantly investing in his wife. He's constantly investing in the community. He's constantly investing in the poor. And so let me just leave you with this thought, right? I am planning for a day that I hope is a long way away. The day of my funeral, essentially, the day I die. And, I'm almost 40 now, so that leaves me, 80 years, if I'm going to take the Moses route and walk on up. And I bet I have time. But I don't necessarily know the day of my appointment to go to Jesus. I don't know that. And I say that with faith of it's going to be an appointment, not not before my time, those kind of things, which I know has a lot of loaded theology behind it. And so, turn my blinker off for you. And so, as I am driving in the sun here, I want you to think about something. I want you to think about to decide to leave a legacy is to pre-hold your own funeral and then ask yourself what's said. And if you don't like what you believe the legacy or the eulogy would be at your funeral, do an autopsy on that eulogy and ask what would wrinkle it out. I just did this for myself when I started praying. These are the things that I would not want said, and these are the things I would want said. And do you know what? It made me want to change the way I live immediately. And that's the point of legacy, is this life is just a vapor, and then we go into eternity. And so eternity begins in every single moment that we're given. And so to be faithful with eternity, what are you doing with your moment? The most basic unit of time is a moment. And so 7 minutes later, I pray that you got something out of this, but go away by yourself, take some time and think, what's your funeral gonna sound like? Do you like the sound of your reputation at your funeral? Do you like the legacy you're leaving? How are your kids and your spouse thinking of that? How are the people you love after you pass away? Do they have fondness? Do they have sadness? Do they wish you would have done more? Something interesting to think about.